Imagine this for a moment. You're scrolling through countless videos, just like any other day. Most of them blur together. Noise, distractions, entertainment you'll forget in 5 minutes. But then, you stop here. On this video, something catches your attention. Something feels different. At first, you might tell yourself it's random, just the algorithm doing its thing. But deep down, a quieter voice is whispering, "No, this isn't an accident. You were meant to hear this." That whisper matters. Because here's the truth. Awakening never announces itself with fireworks at the beginning. It doesn't shout. It doesn't beg for attention. It begins with something far more subtle. A tug in your chest, a restlessness in your soul, a strange sense that life as you've been living it isn't quite real anymore. And if you're still here, still listening to these words, it's because that tug has already begun in you. You wouldn't have stayed if it hadn't. Think about it. The old version of you, the one who lived comfortably on autopilot, would have kept scrolling. But you didn't. You stopped. You stayed. That alone is the first sign that something inside you is waking up. It's not loud, not dramatic, but it's undeniable. Awakening often begins this way, with a question you can't shake, with a restlessness you can't explain, with a sense that the life you once fit into now feels too small for who you're becoming. And maybe you've already noticed it. The music you once loved doesn't touch you the same. The conversations that used to entertain now feel shallow. The routines that once gave you comfort now feel heavy, even suffocating. You look around and quietly wonder, is this all there is? Isn't there something more? That question, that quiet wondering, is not a mistake. It is the crack in the wall, the beginning of the end of sleep, the signal that your spirit is stirring. And the fact that you're here, listening right now, is proof that your soul is ready. When awakening begins, it rarely looks the way you expect. There are no lightning bolts, no heavenly choirs, no instant transformation. Instead, it starts quietly, almost invisibly. A subtle unease creeps into your everyday life. The things that once lit you up begin to feel strangely hollow. The conversations that used to fill your evenings now feel like empty noise. The routines you once followed without question suddenly feel like a cage. At first, you try to brush it off. Maybe I'm just tired. Maybe I'm just stressed. Maybe I'm changing interests. But deep down, you know it's something more. It's not just boredom. It's not just fatigue. It's the first cracks in the illusion you've been living under. You start noticing how much of your life was built on autopilot, going through the motions, chasing goals you didn't choose, playing roles that never truly fit. And once that realization begins, you can't unsee it. You might find yourself staring out the window, wondering, why does everything feel so fake? Why doesn't this excite me anymore? What am I even doing here? Those questions can feel unsettling, even frightening. But they are sacred. They are the soul's way of knocking on the door of your awareness. Every time you feel disconnected from what once satisfied you, it's not a loss. It's a signal that you are outgrowing the life you thought was yours. This is why so many people feel restless at the start of awakening. It's like trying to squeeze yourself into clothes that no longer fit. They're too tight, too small, too heavy. You may still wear them out of habit, but you know in your heart that you can't live inside them forever. And here's the key. What feels like disconnection is actually the beginning of connection to your true self. The heaviness you feel isn't proof that something is wrong. It's proof that something is breaking open. The walls of illusion are crumbling. And while that collapse can feel uncomfortable, it is also the doorway to everything real. So if your old joys feel empty, if your routines feel suffocating, if your heart aches in places you can't explain, don't panic. This is not the end. This is the beginning. These are the first cracks in the illusion. and through those cracks, the light is already starting to pour in. As the old illusions begin to crack, something strange starts to happen. Life, which once seemed random and ordinary, begins to speak to you in whispers. You start noticing patterns you can't explain, numbers that repeat everywhere you look, a song lyric that feels like it was written for you, a thought you have in the morning that shows up in your reality by nightfall. At first, you tell yourself it's coincidence, but deep down, you know it isn't. These synchronicities are not accidents. They are signals, breadcrumbs left along your path to guide you home. The universe doesn't waste its energy sending signs to those who aren't ready to see them. The fact that you're noticing means one thing: your soul is waking up. It's like a hidden language, a secret code written into the fabric of life, and suddenly you are fluent enough to recognize it. Think about the last time you saw a repeating number or heard a phrase that echoed a thought you just had. Did it make you pause? Did it make you feel, even for a second, that something bigger was at play? That pause is everything. It's the moment your soul says, "Pay attention, you're being guided." At first, these signs might feel small, almost playful, but the more you notice, the more they multiply. It's as if life itself bends to remind you that you're not walking blind, not stumbling aimlessly. You are in alignment, and the synchronicities are proof. They are not the destination. They are the road signs pointing you toward it. Think about the last time you saw a repeating number or heard a phrase that echoed a thought you just had. Did it make you pause? Did it make you feel, even for a second, that something bigger was at play? That pause is everything. It's the moment your soul says, "Pay attention, you're being guided." At first, these signs might feel small, almost playful, but the more you notice, the more they multiply. It's as if life itself bends to remind you that you're not walking blind, not stumbling aimlessly. You are in alignment, and the synchronicities are proof. They are not the destination. They are the road signs pointing you toward it.
And here's the beautiful paradox. These signs don't come to make you believe in something outside of yourself. They come to remind you of what's already inside of you. Awakening doesn't happen because of the numbers on a clock or the lyric in a song. Awakening happens because your soul finally recognizes itself through those mirrors. So when synchronicities appear, don't dismiss them. Don't rush past them. Pause. Feel. Let them sink into your awareness. Because they're not random, they're not meaningless. They're messages from the deeper part of you, calling you back home. And every time you notice one, you take another step closer to remembering who you truly are. Once the signs begin to appear and synchronicities start guiding you, the awakening doesn't stop at subtle whispers. Slowly, it begins to dismantle everything you thought was solid. The life you once lived, the roles you played, the routines you followed, the dreams you chased, starts to feel like a house built on sand. And when the tide comes in, the foundation begins to crumble. This is one of the hardest stages of awakening because it feels like your world is falling apart. Old friendships fade, career paths lose meaning, hobbies that once defined you suddenly feel empty. Even your own personality, the way you've always described yourself, no longer fits. It's as if life is tearing down the costume you wore for years, leaving you standing exposed and unsure of who you are without it. Your mind will panic. It will scream, "Something is wrong. I'm losing myself. I'm going backwards." But here's the truth. You are not losing yourself. You are losing the version of yourself that was never real. The mask, the roles, the identities shaped by expectation and survival, those were temporary. Awakening shakes them loose so that the eternal part of you can finally emerge. Think of it like an earthquake. The ground trembles, walls collapse, everything looks like chaos. But beneath the rubble, the earth is resetting, creating space for something new to rise. The breakdown is not destruction, it is preparation. It feels violent to the ego, but to the soul it is liberation. And yes, it will feel like death at times. Death of old ambitions, death of old identities, death of the old you. But remember this, every death in awakening is also a birth. When the old self falls apart, it clears space for your true self, the one that cannot be shaken, to step forward. So if you're in this stage and everything feels like it's collapsing, don't mistake it for the end. It's not the end, it's the opening. The breakdown of the old self is the invitation to finally live as who you really are.
When the old self collapses, fear comes rushing in. It's almost inevitable. You feel like the ground beneath you has vanished. The relationships that once anchored you no longer make sense. The goals that gave you direction feel meaningless. Even your own thoughts and emotions seem unfamiliar. And in that emptiness, the mind screams, "You're losing everything. You're losing yourself. You're not safe." But here's the paradox. That fear is not proof that you're failing. It's proof that you're transforming. Fear is the ego's alarm system, triggered whenever you step beyond its control. It doesn't arise because you're in danger. It arises because you're finally walking into the unknown, a place the ego cannot map. To the ego, the unknown feels like death. To the soul, the unknown is freedom. Think of standing at the edge of a cliff. Your mind insists that if you let go, you'll fall into nothingness. But what if the truth is that you'll discover you were always meant to fly? This is what awakening asks of you, to release the rope you've been gripping your entire life, even when your hands are bleeding, even when your mind insists that rope is the only thing keeping you alive. Detachment feels terrifying because letting go feels like death. But in that letting go, you discover the freedom you've been searching for all along. The fear doesn't mean stop. The fear means you are at the threshold. And if you step through, something extraordinary happens. The prison you thought you were trapped in dissolves. The walls you believed surrounded you were never real. You realize the cage was only in your mind, and the door has been open the entire time. Yes, fear will shake you. Yes, it will feel like standing naked in the universe. But if you breathe through it, if you trust it, you'll find yourself entering a space so vast, so alive, that you'll wonder how you ever believed you were small. The unknown is not empty, it's full of possibility, full of truth, full of the self that cannot be confined. So when fear comes, don't run back, don't cling tighter, step forward, because fear isn't your enemy, it's the doorway. And on the other side of that doorway is the freedom you've been longing for your whole life. And now we arrive at the truth your soul has been waiting to hear. You are awakening. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. The very fact that you're still here, listening to these words, is proof. You didn't stumble into this by accident. You didn't stay because of curiosity alone. You stayed because something deep inside you recognized the truth. Something in you knew, this message is mine. Awakening isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been. The illusions fall, the masks dissolve, the roles crumble, and what remains is the awareness that was there all along. That awareness is you. The real you, the one that was never touched by fear, never broken by pain, never lost in the noise. So when fear comes, don't run back, don't cling tighter, step forward, because fear isn't your enemy, it's the doorway. And on the other side of that doorway is the freedom you've been longing for your whole life. And now we arrive at the truth your soul has been waiting to hear. You are awakening. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. The very fact that you're still here, listening to these words, is proof. You didn't stumble into this by accident. You didn't stay because of curiosity alone. You stayed because something deep inside you recognized the truth. Something in you knew, this message is mine. Awakening isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been. The illusions fall, the masks dissolve, the roles crumble, and what remains is the awareness that was there all along. That awareness is you, the real you, the one that was never touched by fear, never broken by pain, never lost in the noise.
Yes, there will be moments of fear. Yes, there will be days when it feels like too much, when the silence feels heavy, when the old world tugs at you to come back. But once your eyes open, you can't unsee. Once your soul remembers, you can't forget. Awakening isn't a moment, it's a path, and the path has already begun. This is why nothing feels the same anymore, why old routines don't fit, why your heart aches for something you can't quite name. It's because you are stepping out of the life that was too small for you and into the vastness of who you truly are. And though it feels unfamiliar, it is the most natural thing in the world. Because this awareness, this presence, this infinite consciousness has always been you. So take a breath. Let this truth settle in. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are awakening. And this is only the beginning. And if this message resonated with you, don't stop here. Because in my next video, I'll guide you deeper into living from this new awareness, how to carry it into your relationships, your work, and your everyday life. Hit subscribe and let's keep walking this path together, because the journey has only just begun.